So what are opportunities for these types of treatments that aren't being used or not, being fully leveraged? Because it's amazing how impactful they are.
Before I let you go, take us through that treatment that you say
Yeah.
is the standard treatment that you do. It lasts 3 days.
Mhm.
Take us through those 3 days, if you would.
So it's really it's so basic. I always actually start with people showing them the literature on it because otherwise you won't believe it works because it seems so simple to people. But really, what you do is you have someone take the dream that they want to change the nightmare. And I tell people I don't believe this is an exposure based therapy. That's another nerdy debate people will have. But tell me about the nightmare you want to change just enough so I know what we're dealing with. Not that we're trying to expose you to it, but you take that, you write in great detail a new dream that you want to replace it. You can change anything about it, and you can change as much about it as you want. The main thing is have it be a dream that you would really like to have. And then you practice that about 2 times a day, 5 to 10 minutes each time using visual imagery. And often one of two things will happen. Either you'll just stop having the nightmare or you'll start having the new dream. And that can be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite stories that helps illustrate it was a veteran I saw, many moons ago, where his job was he drove the bus to go pick up the soldiers and bring them back. And he had this recurrent nightmare that he had a bus full of soldiers and was driving back to base, and it was just starting to get dark. And he just had this dread come over him that he knows that that's when really bad things happen. And he woke up at that point. So I said, okay, how do you want to change it? And he said, here's what I would love. Instead of driving the bus, I want to be driving my minivan. I want my kids in the back. And I want us to go to the park. And, one of my greatest regrets is that my dad died before my kids were born. I want my dad to be there and I want him to be able to see my kids playing and my kids to be able to meet my dad. So I said, okay, let's try it. And so the next session, he's just breaking down in my waiting room. And I'm still a trainee when this happened. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? I've broken the guy. So I pull him back and he said, I started having that new dream. And it was just so meaningful to me to have that experience. And I thought, how cool is that?
Yeah,
How cool
really.
is that? And just such a simple intervention of, basically giving someone something to visualize is really what it is. And in doing that, having them not only treat the nightmare, but to have this meaningful experience that he really wanted to have. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.